From automated news summaries to AI assisted research, journalists are learning to work with the technology. However, as AI becomes a newsroom assistant, new questions are surfacing. We spoke to Scott Brinton, journalism professor at Hofstra University, to understand how reporters can ethically balance innovation while using AI in their reporting. How should journalists balance efficiency of AI tools to ensure accuracy and fairness in reporting?
First, I would say the most important thing is that AI cannot replace your fundamental skill sets as a journalist. So that is, if you're a writer, should not be writing to you. If you are, TV is a little bit different, although some places there are AI bots that are doing a little bit of TV reporting. But it just can't replace the human. And I happen to believe that our audiences want the human connection. So in no way do I think it should, nor do I think it can replace humans. That being said, though, we've been experimenting here at the Herbert School going back a couple of years now. I've been personally experimenting with AI for the past 2 years on how we can implement it into our reporting, and I think it holds a lot of promise in terms of the ability to more efficiently report stories, in that it can point you in directions that maybe you weren't thinking about before. Because, if you think about precisely what AI is, it is essentially the sum of all human knowledge. And to have a powerful tool like that at your fingertips as a reporter is pretty amazing.
Should audiences always be informed when an article or news segment is generated by AI?
If a news organization is using AI to write stories, which I disagree with fundamentally, but if they were to, and there are those that do, then yes, absolutely 100%. That's about transparency. It's about being transparent with the audience, that you're not pretending this is somehow a human source that's doing the reporting and the writing. If you're using it as an aid, as a tool, then I think of it as just any other tool. We don't report to audiences when we do internet research now. If you're using it as a reporting tool, and just yesterday I was working with my students in digital and mobile reporting about how do we do AI searching, which is a little bit different than doing a traditional internet search. No, we don't have to do that.
What kind of legal concerns may arise from AI-generated content?
Very good question. Difficult to answer because, news organizations are just now starting to use AI. They've been using it now for a couple of years, but it's becoming more and more popular. It's become increasingly popular. Of course, if the journalist isn't doing their due diligence with a story, and they're depending on AI as, this be-all and end-all and no questions asked in terms of when a story comes out, I could see potential problems because AI, of course, makes mistakes. It hallucinates. It makes things up. We know that. I'm not sure that that's ever going to go away, because AI is one of these things that even the computer scientists who have developed AI, and they're not sure precisely how it works. It's a neural network. And just like the human brain, we don't really know precisely how it works. They call that black box thinking. And so that's problematic. So, just like with any other source of information, you have to ask for your sources. Whenever I'm using AI to do any type of reporting in terms of fact-checking, or using AI to essentially fact-check stories, or to provide sources of information for me, it's like anything else. I have to check it, double check it, triple check it against other sources, most often live human sources. That's my message to my students, that it's like any other source and cannot depend on it. And you can get yourself into a lot of trouble if you depend on it as your final source. However, that being said, it is It has at its fingertips the ability to synthesize all of human knowledge, which is a pretty amazing thing.
Should a journalist or newsroom be held liable if AI-generated content spread misinformation?
One of the first and foremost responsibilities of any newsroom to produce quality content that is held to the highest standard. And the highest standard is we seek truth and we report it. If you have failed in that capacity, and you haven't done your due diligence with the story, you could be potentially held liable in a court of law. I believe you should be.
In terms of new laws and regulations, we spoke to AI industry specialist.
Do we need them? But they are already in process. Every day I'm reading about new legislation that people are introducing. But there are many, many projects going on now where they're trying to create legislation. And at the same time, they are appealing to the frontier model makers, the Anthropic, the Gemini, the DeepSeek rather, the OpenAI and so forth, to incorporate safety controls. There was a new one recently that I think it was OpenAI was suggesting that people under the age of 18 will not be able to access OpenAI without express permission from their parents. That would be huge.
Beyond legality, AI can also affect in accuracy and fairness. As technology evolves, journalists may use AI in their reporting, but it can never replace the human touch. I'm Mashia Dazmi, reporting on ethical and legal side of AI in Newsroom.